Earlier this morning, before we came on air, we spoke to the victorious boss, Lee Carsley, who gave his first interview since winning the trophy, and I started by asking him how he felt a week on from becoming a European champion.
It was a brilliant experience, being away from in total with the players, seeing them grow, seeing them come together, and ultimately seeing them perform in the biggest moments was the most pleasing bit. You always know that we've had the talent within the pathway. Sometimes we've just not had that ability to turn up to them big tournaments and show the rest of Europe what we're capable of. But the players deserve so much credit for the way that they approached every session, every challenge that they came up against, and more pleasingly, the way that they stuck together.
You're taking the trophy on a bit of a whistle-stop tour, I understand, today. Just tell us what you're doing today.
My middle son, Connor, is part of a group, a disabled group for young adults with Down syndrome. He does a football activity on a Friday night, which I always go and I have to drop him off and hang about. So I thought it was a good chance for them to see the trophy, and also I've got to go there anyway to drop him off. So I'm ticking a couple of boxes there.
And Lee, just looking at some of the standout performers who really came of age during this tournament, I was most impressed with Levi Colwill. Do you see him as someone who can really make a charge now to try and get in the full England squad for next summer?
I thought, Levi, along with God, you could go through the whole squad, was really represented themselves really well. I think Levi obviously had a taste of what it feels like to be in the senior team or in and around the senior team, with the chance to go and train with the squad, as have quite a few of the players within the 2-year campaign. And the biggest thing now is that the players take that form that they showed in the summer through to the start of the season, because ultimately, if they're going to play for the senior team, it's a lot of that is going to depend on how they do for their clubs at the start of the season.
What I thought was really fascinating, Lee, was during the tournament itself, you play players in unfamiliar positions. Gomez is a deeper lying midfield player, somewhere where he hasn't played too often. Garner, right back. Gordon as a striker. But they all thrived. What did you see that allowed you to do that? What was the reason behind it?
As opposed to seeing them in positions, I saw them as, have they got the profile and the attributes to play in them positions, and they all have. We try not to be too restrictive on like playing in a certain position. It's more the role and the responsibility in the area of the pitch that they're in. So all of the players that you mentioned there are more than capable. They're all really good at football, which helps. But that they've all really got a really good understanding tactically as well of their role within that area of the pitch.
What was going through your head, Lee, when Spain were awarded that penalty in stoppage time? Obviously, James Trafford hadn't conceded a goal. Were you confident that he would come to England's rescue?
To be honest with you, I think I started laughing or smiling. I was just, because you've seen this story so many times, haven't you? Where you 1-0 up and you can see the penalty in the last minute, and you draw 1-1 and then extra time and all the rest of it. And I could sort of see that panning out. But the way that the tournament's gone, it didn't surprise me that he did save it, because he's got, he's such a good goalkeeper, and he's got such pride in keeping the ball out of the net. And I suppose the most pleasing thing was the reaction of the second save. I thought the second save was probably better than the penalty save, and then how quickly then they put pressure on the player that hit the ball over the bar. So not surprising, but we've got to give Spain so much credit, because we were under so much pressure in the second half. We didn't play with as much control as we had done in previous games, and physically as well. I thought we were spent at that point. So it was great relief when to see that ball going into the stand after.
You talked about the control, and one of the features of the tournament was the control that you had in a lot of the matches. I mean, sometimes when you created goals and chances, 21 passes before the goal against the Czechs, 21 passes in the build-up to the group goal against Israel. Is that league football, or is that the FA playbook? Where does it come from? What's the style? Is that what we're trying to do as a country now?
We're trying to control the game as much as we can in and out of possession. Encouraging the players to play where the space is. If the opposition drop off, if they press us high, can we play through them? Can we play over them? And giving the lads the confidence and the ownership and responsibility to try and play. I always feel the more you control play going through the thirds, you've got a better chance of probably not scoring, but getting the next phase of the play. If you don't create a chance, so we try to do that in and out of possession. And like I say, a lot of the credit has got to go to all of the credit has got to go to the players of having the confidence that to express themselves in that situation. And at some point, I could show you some of the footage of the training of us practicing, trying to do it, and it looking not like it did on the television in the big games. And it was important that Ashley, Jolien, Tim, and myself gave the players the confidence that this is the way that we're going. This is what we've got to do. This is how I see us going, and you keep trying it. They showed a lot of courage to believe in not only what we were trying to do, but have the confidence to keep doing it.
As well as sort of propelling a lot of those young players into the limelight, this tournament really put you on the map as well as a coach, Lee. Where do you see your future now in the aftermath of the tournament?
It's important for me when you are in development football that the players come first, and you try and create an environment and an experience for the players to express themselves at a good level, and that nothing changes for me. I don't feel like I've been propelled forward or backwards. I'm just trying to do a good job, trying to create an environment and an atmosphere where the players can excel, and that's my priority. I'm really lucky with the job that I do. I feel that I've got a really good understanding of not only the under-21s, but the pathway in general. The players that are coming through. I've had a chance this season to be on an under-15s camp and under-17s camp. So I've got definitely invested in what I'm doing, and that's my priority. I always try and do a good job today, as opposed to worrying too much about the future.
In the last 6 years, England have won the Under-17 World Cup, the Euro 19s twice, the Under-20 World Cup, and now the Under-21 European Championships. It's a great deal of success. One, what do you put that down to? And although senior success doesn't always follow such pathway success, how do you see the senior team bridging that gap to success going forward? And do you think that the influence of the winning in the pathway and the age groups will help them do that? The
level of coaching that the players receive now at their clubs coming through, especially the academies, is from Cat 4 right the way up to Cat 1, is outstanding. There's some really, really good top coaches, young coaches around as well that are putting hour after hour into these players and creating environments and technical programs that we see the fruit of as national coaches, because a lot of the development goes on away from the environment that we're in terms of an international camp over 10 days or the 2 years that you've seen. So, the big thing is transferring that and creating players and as many players as we can for Gareth and Steve to be able to choose for the national team and the senior team. And I can only say from the short experience that I had out in Qatar that there's a massive difference between the under-21s winning the Euros and the senior team winning the World Cup or the Euros as well. So, but that's all what we're trying to do is create as many players for Gareth and Steve to pick from to enhance the chances of doing something. Because I think the fact that these players that are coming through have played in the latter stages of tournaments can only benefit the national team.
On the subject of the senior team, Dele Alli was one of the key players when we reached the semi-finals back in 2018. You'll have been aware of his interview, very emotional interview with Gary Neville yesterday. What's your reaction to it? And do you think there's enough support for this type of addiction in football?
What you're seeing now is players being a lot more talking a lot more, that they're a lot more open with their struggles and what they're going through. And I think it's all about, creating that environment at the clubs, especially where, the players feel like they've got someone to talk to. I know player support and making sure that there is that place where you can talk about what's going on and dealing with the pressures of football, and not only on the pitch but off the pitch as well. And it was sad to see that interview yesterday, because obviously Dele's a top player, but you worry about some of these younger players as well as people rather than players. And hopefully he's in a better place now, and it'd be great to see him do well for Everton. Obviously a team that I still follow a lot.
Finally, before we let you go, a quick word on your own future, because success inevitably means that you've been linked with other jobs. Ireland's been mentioned, Premier League clubs have been mentioned. Do you have an ambition yourself to go on and be a manager in the men's game in a club sense, or do you see yourself as an international manager going forward?
Like I said earlier, I've never really been one to make too many plans about too far ahead. The big thing for me was doing a good job in the Euros. It's great that we've won it, but the 2-year campaign, I feel like we've had a lot of success in terms of players going in and out of the senior team. I'm thinking about Connor and Mark Gurhey. There's two that have been involved in the 21s, and Meal as well, that have gone up. So yeah, my priority has always been making sure I can do a good job today and not worrying too much about the future.
That was Lee Carsley speaking to us this morning about winning the Under-21 European Championships, his future. He also talked about some of the players that did him a great turn in that particular tournament. And also, he reflected on the news yesterday that we brought you about Dele Alli.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.